If you're anything like most of the clients we've been speaking with lately, you're probably wondering what the Breckenridge and Summit County real estate market is going to look like as we move into 2022. For instance, are prices going to continue to rise? And if so, at the same rate of appreciation that they have been over the course of the last year? Do you think we're going to see any give in the inventory levels? Buyers have been really challenged over the last year to even find something. There are not multiple competing offers on that property. And do you think we're likely to see any change in mortgage interest rates as we head into 2022? Stick around, that's what we're going to be covering in this video. I'll see you on the other side. How you doing? It's Pete with the Breck Life Group right here in Breckenridge, Colorado. Today we're going to take a look at projections or predictions for 2022 in the Breckenridge and Summit County real estate market. So recently I watched a roundtable discussion that was hosted by Lawrence Yun, the chief economist or one of the chief economists for the National Association of Realtors, and a lot of what they were talking about at a nationwide level is also what we're experiencing here, boots on the ground in Summit County. So we're going to take a look at that next. And really, we're going to look at the three major factors that will influence the real estate market in Summit County as we head into 2022. The first of these three factors is inventory levels. And if you've been paying attention at all, you're well aware that we have a very significant housing shortage across the country. In fact, during the roundtable discussion, the economists were talking about anywhere from 5 to 6 million homes as the shortage. There are home buyers that would fill 5 to 6 million more homes if they were built. Now that is a pretty significant shortage of inventory, and there are three real factors that influence why we're so short of housing. And those three things are these. As we've talked about in other videos, in that post-2008 Great Recession, there were so many home builders that went out of business that for the decade from 2010 to 2020, home building in the United States came to a pretty significant halt, I'll call it, or greatly reduced by comparison to the 7 decades prior to that. So that was the primary influence for why we were so short as we began the decade beginning 2020. Then came the pandemic, and what we've seen since that time, two other factors. We have obviously supply chain issues. We have a very significant shortage in building material supplies across the nation and labor supplies. So many people, when they were watching builders going out of business, younger people were not moving into the trades, the construction trades, including plumbing and electrical and sheetrock and carpentry. So we've got a very significant shortage not only in building materials and in labor. The result of those two things are driving home building costs up significantly, making it more challenging for builders, to even make an honest living. And the third factor influencing the low levels of inventory, many people have realized that if I sell my home, I may not have anywhere to go. And so we're finding people hesitant, people who would move every 5 to 7 years, very hesitant to even list and sell their properties for fear of the cost of a replacement property. So that was the first factor influencing it. The second or other side of that coin, and in any conversation about economics, we always look at supply and demand. So the opposite side of the supply or lack of inventory is demand. And there are a couple factors influencing the increase that we've seen in demand. Number one, a huge number of millennials have moved into high-paying jobs, and guess what? They're actually moving out of their parents' basement and becoming first-time home buyers. So it's not that we see a ton of people here in Summit County, moving from other areas and purchasing their first home, but we are seeing the second factor that influences us, and that is we're seeing an influx of people as a result of either full-time work-from-home status or some kind of hybrid where they only need to go to an office a couple days a week. And that has led to an influx of what I'll call second home buyers from Denver, Boulder, Colorado Springs. As these people are within close enough driving distance, they can come and spend 3 or 4 or 5 days here at what is their second home in Summit County, and then make a trek back to the Front Range for their primary job. Another factor that we've seen is the cost of homes in California. It's pretty surprising the increase that we've seen over the course of the last year of people selling in California very expensive homes in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, things like that, and purchasing a replacement property perhaps in the Front Range, and the cost savings to them is so significant they have money left over to buy a second home, their vacation home here in the mountains. So we continue to see increasing demand across all of Summit County, some from the Front Range, but also those out-of-state influences continue. All right, so each of those two influences we might expect to drive home prices up, and that's certainly what we've seen over the course of the last year. This third influence has the potential to decrease buyer demand and potentially see a pullback in prices, and that is inflation is on the rise, as you've seen in the news. The Fed is considering a mortgage interest rate increase, and in fact the economists on the panel were suggesting that they would not be surprised if we saw over the course of 2020 2 or 3 increases in mortgage interest rates to help combat inflation. Now, they were predicting that the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, the rate for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage by the end of 2022 could increase to 4%. Still at almost historic lows, but with each increase in interest rates, it does reduce a buyer's purchasing power, because for each payment that they're making, more of that payment goes towards interest and less of it towards principal. All right, so in summary, I predict, based on everything that I've read and all the economists I've studied, that 2022 will continue to be a seller's market. We are seeing influences of increasing home prices throughout the year, perhaps not at the same pace as what we saw in 2021. And let's just talk about both what the economists are predicting as well as what we saw over the course of the last year. So a couple of things. The economists on the panel were predicting a 5.7% increase in home prices across the country in 2022. Compare that to going back to 1980. The average rate of appreciation for single-family homes across the country, it's been moving at about 4.9% appreciation year over year, measured throughout market cycles. So they're predicting something slightly stronger than that at 5.7%, but I'd like you to consider the fact that the nationwide rate of appreciation over the course of 2021 in the November statistics was 19.9% year over year nationwide. Summit County here, boots on the ground, we have seen a little bit better than 23% appreciation over the course of the last year. So if you're a seller, what does that mean for you? We expect that 2022 will be a great time to be a seller. It's still going to be a seller's market with increasing prices, pretty low inventory levels as those who own here don't wish to move away from here. And I think you're pretty likely to see a well-priced property receiving multiple offers from buyers because of the lack of inventory. If you're a buyer, it probably means more of the same. It means challenges and struggles as each of your offers is submitted against other competing offers. So I don't want you to give up hope. We actually have been incredibly successful in 2021 at getting our buyers under contract through some very, very creative strategies that don't cost you more money. So if you have questions about those, please reach out to us. We're happy to help guide you through that process. Obviously, there's a lot more to unpack than just those three factors. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We've been getting calls from people watching these videos, people we've been working with as buyers and sellers. We're getting a lot of questions, so don't hesitate. Give us a call, send us a text message, send an email, whatever's best for you. We're here to help as you're looking to either buy or sell in Summit County. Thank you.